Welcome back, guys. Today is the last day of 2022, and we want to personally thank you for the support you've given to our channel. We are nothing without you. Now, today's true crime story is a very sad one. This is the story of a pregnant lawyer, a woman at that, who was just having fun with her family on the 25th of December 2022. This happened just about 6 days ago, and she was having fun with her family in Nigeria of West Africa. And some way, somehow, during a traffic checkpoint put up by a police officer and his colleague, some way, somehow, this woman ended up getting shot and killed, sitting beside her husband in their own vehicle with their kids and sister-in-law at the back seat. This true crime story just blows my mind, and if you are ready to find out what led to all this and the details and the evolving issues that have come up after her death, just buckle up and let's go. Now, the date is 25th of December 2022, and of course, that's Christmas Day. And young lawyer Mrs. Bolanle Raheem is at home with her family, that is her husband and her kids. Now, the story goes that one of her children actually told their father that, "Daddy, you promised to take us out." And their dad was like, "Okay, let's go out, have some ice cream and have some pizza and some few stuff, have fun. After all, it's Christmas." So that's exactly what happened. The family got into their car. The husband was driving, and young Mrs. Bolanle Raheem was beside him at the front, and their kids were at the back with Bolanle's sister, and they took off. They went to an ice cream joint. They got some ice cream, and Christmas generally is the day that signifies love, giving, the spirit of togetherness. And for those of you who have families, I'm sure you appreciate how exciting it is when you actually get the chance to spend that day and the few days leading up to it and after it with your family, with you. It adds so much to the relevance of that day. It adds so much to the joy and love that you experience on that day. And I think that it's one of the irreplaceable moments in life. So you can imagine how the family felt, the kind of happiness that was in the aura around them. And this is what permeated. So after the ice cream, they then went to a pizza joint. And still in the spirit of the Yuletide, they were having fun. They got their pizza, they were hanging out. All was well. Everything was cool. Love was in the air. And for the pregnant Bolanle Raheem, little did she know that on that day of all days, when family was the closest and most important thing one would want to have, and she had been so fortunate to be with hers and was also blessed to be carrying allegedly twins, she was actually some few minutes away from meeting the man who will end up ending her life. Now, after getting the pizza and spending some time as a family there, they then decided that they were just heading on back home. And that is where tragedy would strike. Per the route they were on, they had to go through a roundabout. And the report has it that just after they negotiated the roundabout, all they heard was somebody shouting at them to stop. And apparently, a group of police officers about 3 of them had set up a roadblock, and there is an allegation that they were actually extorting money from pedestrians and drivers. This bit of the allegation on extortion is yet to be corroborated by the Nigerian police or the investigating body, but that is what is captioned in the story out there, as allegedly that's what the police officers were doing. And if you are in Africa watching this video, I'm sure I can speak for at least what I've seen in Ghana and what I've seen in Nigeria, where emphasis on some police officers without shame try to abuse their powers, which of course includes the attempts to extort monies from some pedestrians. Sometimes some police officers are to be commended. They are doing an excellent job. They are doing a stellar job. But there are still some bad nuts in the service who rather, instead of protecting and serving the community, decide that they are rather going to take advantage of the power they've been given and then use it to extort money from the citizens. And according to the allegation, this is what was happening at that checkpoint. And just like that, by merely deciding to drive out and have fun with her family, the pregnant lawyer, Bolanle Raheem, her husband, her kids, and her sister-in-law were caught up in a confrontation with such a police representation on the streets of Nigeria. Now, according to the reports, as soon as they were shouted at to stop, her husband was trying to park the car, and the next thing they heard was a loud bang. I must emphasize that this was not even in the evening or at night. This was in broad daylight. So for those of you who may start thinking that, oh, maybe it was dark and the police officer thought he saw something suspicious or dangerous in the vehicle, that's clarity for you. It was during the day. He could see everything clearly. Kids were in the back seat, a pregnant woman was at the front, and a man was driving the car. There was no danger, there was no threat against his life. They were just parking as directed by a police officer, and the next thing they heard was a loud bang. And just like that, a shot had been fired by the police officer. It is yet to be confirmed that whether the shot was fired deliberately or it was fired by mistake, but unfortunately the bullet hit the young Bolanle Raheem, pregnant with twins, and she succumbed to her injury and passed on. Just like that. Now, it still gets bizarre. After performing such a dastardly act, whether deliberately or by accident, the coward police officer is reported to have tried to escape. In actual fact, he had 2 other colleagues with him at the checkpoint. As soon as the shot went off, both of them are reported to have tried running away, and he also tried jumping into their vehicle and escaping. But then, the sister-in-law, who is actually the sister of the victim now, didn't allow that. By instinct, she just jumped out of their vehicle whilst the victim's husband was trying to attend to her and call for help, and then she held on to this police officer, who went further to now threaten to shoot her and cocked his gun, according to her testimony. But she still held her ground, and I tip my hats off to her. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to do that, and that is exactly what she did. She stood up for her sister. She confronted her sister's killer, and it prevented the police officer from escaping. Mind you, this case will still end up with the police. So if they didn't have this guy on site with all the witnesses ready to corroborate, it would be difficult if he tries to come back to twist the story in his favor. It would be very difficult for the victim's family to actually prove that he did that. And I don't foresee his two colleagues snitching on him. So I think what the sister-in-law did was excellent. And through that, the officer was arrested and interdicted. Investigations are ongoing, and I hope this wouldn't end up as one of those charade investigations that are executed by some police units in some parts of the African continent when it comes to their own being involved in something that needs to be punished for. So, unfortunately, this was how the beautiful life of a beautiful soul was cut short by a police officer whom we are yet to find out what his motive was, whether it was accidental or it was deliberate. Either way, I think it's barbaric and it's just crazy. Please, like I've been saying, the moment, even when you are at home, you still need to keep an eye out because you don't even know what is coming towards you in your own home. Your risks are increased when you step out. Although some things are inevitable, but aside saying your prayers, also keep an eye out. You can't prevent everything, you don't have eyes at the back of your head, but then at least it gives you a fighting chance in some instances. I look forward to this police officer being brought to justice, and I believe he will, because the victim is also a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. She was actually a lawyer, and I'm expecting that her industry colleagues will team up and push for the justice they've been fighting for other people in court. I'll catch you once again, probably before 2023 ends. I'll be putting out a second video. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done so. For our returning subscribers, thank you so much. You've been lovely to us in 2023, in 2022, sorry, and in 2023, we look forward to more from you. We are going to give you our best. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done so, share with your friends. This is now something that could help with your security. You never know. You could get a tip in the video, your friend could get a tip. Don't enjoy the content alone. I'll catch you next time. Stay safe out there.